what I would say about the media industry is I think the reason why I've been able to pivot so easily, not easily, it was not easy. I've been fired twice in the last whatever. But each pivot worked well because it wasn't me running from one industry into the same industry. It was me running from one part of the industry into what was next in the industry. And I think a lot of people in the media industry right now are like, where do I go next? And it is much easier if you're going not within, but without. and you're going to find substantially more opportunity at this moment in time if you're a senior executive who makes a certain amount of money and you need to kind of keep doing that outside of media as a media expert than you are inside media as a media expert.
So when you are at a job and you see that next opportunity and it becomes clear to you that opportunity isn't going to make its way into your current role or even the current company, what steps do you take? Do you find that leader on LinkedIn, reach out to them? Like, is there a bit of personal selling that goes on? Like, what advice would you give to someone who's like, Evan, that's a great idea, but how do I move forward with it?
Yeah, good question. I don't do a lot of, I don't do it. This is going to sound really weird. I do marketing. I say, listen to my podcast. I do once in a while, whenever I publish a link, go to my newsletter, but I'm not, it's, here's a bunch of content first. I think that the key element, well, there's two major key elements. The first is wake up stupid.
Okay, that's interesting.
If you're not retraining your brain in some increment daily, you will fall behind. And I'll give you a good example. I was on stage at Stream TV in Denver last month, and the Shorts site or app, Real Shorts, came up. Do you know that?
And no, I'm unfamiliar with it.
And it's a short film app, Real Short, actually, not Shorts. And it's basically feature films cut into 3-minute increments that
Okay.
you pay as you go. It's not a subscription. Born in China, no surprise, home of TikTok. And I think it's now the most downloaded app in the US, I believe. But it is crushing it. And it's increasingly become the obsession of Hollywood. I was on stage at Stream TV. I asked the audience there, had anyone heard of it? Almost no one in the audience had. And so in that moment, I was able to kind of like give a nice moment of discovery to a room full of people. Unless you're out there kind of learning about things around you and adjacent to where your career is and where you want it to go on a daily basis, you are going to fall behind to the people who know what Real Short is. You know what I mean? Like there are going to be other people who are chosen ahead of you.
In that example, did you become, for the industry and your peers at that conference, did you become the immediate subject matter expert on that? Like everyone must have been coming up to you and talking about it after and following up.
Well, what's fascinating is I've become the subject matter expert, and the subject is media, and I've become the media's subject matter expert. There are others, Alan Woke, Marion Ranchette. There are obviously other people, but the reason why people are okay calling me the media cartographer is because most people understand that, like, no, he really does map the future of the media universe. That's what he does for a living. People have accepted that as a reality. And the only reason that is because every day I wake up and discover something new about our universe, and then I share it. So that is the lesson. If you're in an interview and you're telling somebody who's interviewing you something they already know, you're not going to stand out. But if you're telling them something they haven't heard before,
good point. Yeah.
You will. And that's true on LinkedIn as well. So if you're sharing a thought or a point of view, and by the way, it's not always like a fact, like Real Short. Sometimes it's, hey, it's a observation about data that we all have access to. And that's really the story of, my brand. I took all these numbers and turned them into a map, and I do that with other charts. But having a point of view that others can't see because you are more read on the topic, that's always going to be of value. So wake up stupid. The other part of it is, if you're selling, you're probably losing.
Mm.
And marketing is not content, but content is great marketing. And so I would argue that if you want opportunity from your network on LinkedIn, be responsible for putting out information or content on a regular basis that pulls the algorithm into you. And there are two reasons for that. First and foremost, the more people who are in your orbit, the more opportunity that's going to come your way. And then secondarily, if you do get a conversation with someone who's connected to you on LinkedIn, they already come to the table having some idea of your worth. And so it's less incumbent upon you in that conversation to really explain how your mind works. But on top of that, even if they have no idea who you are, if you're doing a cold outreach on LinkedIn through a DM to ask about something or another, the first place they're going to go is your LinkedIn page. Not some of the time, not 90% of the time, 100% of the time, they're going to click on your name and they're going to look at your LinkedIn page to see if you're a fucking lunatic or not. And so then what's there really, really matters. Is it boring? Are they going to leave in 2 seconds because there's nothing to read? Is it interesting and they linger longer than they thought they should on a LinkedIn page? And hey, I got to meet this person. Or is it lunatic and I got to get away from this person, block? That really matters. But that continuum of what I just talked about, waking up, learning something new, sharing it with your network, using it as not just a marketing tool, but also as a landing page, as a front page to the retail store of your career. Those are crucially important connective points in this moment in time. If you work in media and you are an executive, if you're not like a writer, a screenwriter or something like that. The other last part I'll leave you is don't worry about impressing the entire world. Like I have a decent LinkedIn following. It's not about building a LinkedIn following of X number. It's about igniting the network you have. You have a brand today. You have a network today. Whatever that number is, go after them. It's about the network effect. It's not about branding. It's about igniting the network. The network effect, if you look it up, is about 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. It's not about 1 to many. It's Facebook. I get a dozen people to sign up. They tell a dozen people each, and you're off to the races. So even if you have 100 connections on LinkedIn, excite them about something. And in a week, you'll have 125. And then 5 weeks, if you excite those 125, in 5 weeks, you'll have 300, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. And then opportunity will actually start coming to you as opposed to you having to always chase it.